Today I'm gonna show you how to make those splitter cables supports for your splitter or any other aero part or for anything else that you need to support. Stay tuned. That's a good one! So I have been asked before a few times, where did I buy those from? Well, I got news for you. I made them. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, because I'm cheap like that. You can buy them from Tegiva. They have an amazing set. It's probably the best one on the market. I'm not just saying it because I get support from Tegiva and they are my friends. I'm saying it because I've seen quite a few really sort of bad things on the market. Your usual Amazon finest carbon. Mind you, this is real carbon tube, but this is just, please don't feed this to your car. So Tegiva sell them and they're very similar to this. They're not the cheapest and they're not the most expensive, so for their purpose they are more than affordable. But what happens if you need quite a specific length and, for example, they don't have it, or you don't want to wait for somebody else to make it? By the way, I make them, so if you order a splitter or whatever, if you need those, I can make them to your size. So I just wanted to show you how I make them and what sort of components go into assembling one of those. It looks fairly simple, but it's also adjustable. So what components goes inside? So those are basically crimp fixtures. I can't remember the exact name of them, but they come in a range of sizes. I use 6mm hole, so you can use 6mm bolt or you can use a 6mm pin, widely available, and also 3mm cable. Slots inside like that, and then you use a heavy duty tool like that, which exerts 10 tons of pressure. Yeah, 10 tons of pressure. So you crimp them, one on each side, and then there's a number of options you can have for the adjuster. So this is sort of your normal simple adjuster with two sort of pull pins on either side. Depending how you want to mount it, you might want to use them. I really like to use those. They're just basically straight couplers with an adjuster like you would find on your steering control arm or something like that. So when you twist this one way, the cable gets shorter. You twist it the other way, it gets longer. Same principle. This cable goes inside. You crimp this, cut, measure, put another one on the end, and then you find another one, whether you want this fixture or, in this instance, for Michael, I'm going to be using one of those. It's slightly bigger, but it already comes with this. Basically makes my job a little bit easier. I don't have to cut the cable twice, only cut cable for one side. So it's going to be roughly something like this. I then apply, you can leave it as a clear cable because this cable is stainless steel, but I like to apply heat shrink just to make it a little bit neater. It just looks a bit sort of nicer, like black, like that. And also for mounting it to whatever you want to mount it to, splitter or chassis, at the bottom I usually use those clevises. They are fantastic because they come with this true ultimate quick release pin. It goes in like that. It's 6mm in diameter, so it goes in like that, and then this thing locks. And believe me, I've been using it for the 2 years now and I haven't lost one. I am lying, I have lost one, but I've lost it because I unclipped it and I forgot where I put it. But saying that, 6mm bolt saved my bacon. So those will go onto the splitter, and what I also do is I machine a little sort of domey spacer washers kind of thing. So those on a splitter will sit on the domes. I have aluminum. This is off cut, I already pre-cut. So I'm gonna machine it on my lathe and make it a nice little domey profile. So they will see it like that on top. This will go with the cable. And this part at the top, I also supply those aluminum 6mm clevises, single clevis. It goes inside perfectly like that, and 6mm here, and you can bolt it to your chassis, to your bodywork, to whatever you want to mount it to on the inside. Right, I have all the parts here. Let's quickly assemble it. So according to the picture Michael sent me, to be on the safe side, we need to be around 280 millimeters full length from the bottom of the splitter to the top where it's gonna mount. By looking at the picture, I know that we roughly have 30, maybe even 40 mil as a play. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna even disregard the thickness of the spacers that I made. So the next easy step would be to measure the components, so we know how long to cut the cable. So the components, we're going to measure them complete. So if you imagine this goes at the bottom, (64 millimeters), and then this clevis, we're going to go into a middle position. It has an incredible amount of adjustment. I mean, as you can see, this can unscrew hell of a way. So this can screw all the way in on both sides. So effectively we have all of this as a possible adjustment, which is nifty 95 millimeters. Of course, we're not going to use 95 millimeters. We're gonna screw those in about halfway, which means that if we go either way, it will give us, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna go full way. I am gonna leave him about 10 mil on each side. That way you can make it shorter by 20 mil, and you can make it longer by about 50 or 60 millimeters. I think that should make it good for his needs. So now we have to measure a full length from the pin, and obviously my caliper doesn't go that far. We end up at 200. So if we need 280 and this thing is 63, we basically only need 20 millimeters of cable. That is very, very short, I have to admit. But that's not a problem, because obviously the cable goes inside a fair whack. And all we need for the cable to do is the cable will just give us this flexibility. And that's all we really need. So I just measured, the cable goes inside of the long one, 40 millimeters. Inside of the short one, it goes about 18. We need 20 in between, so that makes it 68. So I measured 68 millimeters precisely, and before I cut it, I'll put a bit of tape, just some masking tape, over the cut line. Now we measure it one more time. 68. Now we can measure another 68 here. Put another bit of tape. Measure it one more time, allowing for the thickness of the cutting disc. You can just use cable cutters. You can cut it with the angle grinder. You can cut it with Dremel. And that's exactly what I'm going to use, because Dremel leaves a very, very clean edge. Safety first. Ah! This thing is a little bit in the way. Let's cut it from this side. Here you are. Flexible 68 millimeters cable, exactly what we need. Sure we are correct. Yeah, we're bang on the money. We have two identical cables. You're probably asking, Rusky, why do they have to be so even though you said that there is like 50 millimeters of adjustment? Well, they have to be even so they look exactly the same once they are inserted into the tube, because they go into one side in here like that, and then another one obviously goes into another one. So if you cut it slightly different length, it may sound like very, very obvious, but once assembled, this length will be different, and you don't really want that. So that's it. That's effectively our almost complete rod. So now we are at 250 millimeters. Obviously allowing for the clevis. $270. Great. And we have all the adjustment in the world with this thing, so Michael can make it all the way up to like 320. So all I have to do now is use my fancy tool, crimp it. But before I do that, I need to put a little bit of heat shrink on the inside. Now we can take one part apart, slot this in, this goes in, and we have a really nice, neat black cable that is going to be flexible. So this tool usually comes with its own dies, but I found that those dies are too big. If you buy the expensive tool, maybe you'll have the die that you need. So what I do is I take the smallest one and I cut my own die, and then I harden it. I heat it up and then I put it into oil. Repeat this process a few times. I know I'm not a professional metallurgist, but that does definitely help, because I remember first time when I did that, the tool got ruined literally after the first press. Here you are. Now we're just starting a center, so we can drill a hole. So here we are. Here's the finished article. So you have a spacer that I've just machined, quick release clevis, opens up and it comes out, cable for flexibility, lots of adjustment, another quick release clevis with a securing pin, and a 6mm end to fit to whatever metal body part you want. And this is your cable support. Admittedly, those are a little bit shorter than I anticipated. First I thought they would be much longer, but it is what it is. It's a cable. I mean, it has some cable in it. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this tutorial kind of interesting and useful somewhat. If you want to attempt it, of course, do it. I encourage everyone to just do it by yourself. Everything is possible as long as you trust some guy on the YouTube. Or if you really don't want to do it, or you don't want to buy the tool, admittedly the tool is like 100-something pounds, I can do it for you. I have no idea how to price it. Drop me a message and we'll take it from there. If you order your splitter and the diffuser and whatnot together, then obviously I can make them included in the price. I'll add a little bit extra. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's about 1 o'clock at night. I'm going to bed. Tomorrow I'm painting this. Don't forget to subscribe.